Hi guys, my name is Marcy Dolapo and you are watching So You Want to Get Married. So You Want to Get Married is table talk where my guests and I talk about anything and everything to do with dating, love, relationships, and of course marriage. Today I will be joined by marriage counsellor Lara Kudayisi Emeralds, photographer and TV personality Namang Blacky, and journalist Karen Young. And our topic today is domestic violence. Hi guys, how are you doing? Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to be talking about domestic violence, which is quite a heavy topic. Well, it's actually a very heavy topic. And Lara, I just want to start with you. I want to understand the reason behind domestic violence. What do you think are the key reasons that there is domestic violence in a household? So let's just pick the man, because I know it can happen to the man as well, but predominantly a man laying his hands on a woman. What do you think are the reasons behind it?
It depends on how the man was raised.
Okay.
Usually most of the times you check them, it's how the man was raised. He believes that is submission. He needs to beat his wife to submission. He sees himself as, domineering, So if his father beats his mother that way, most of the time, 80 out of 100 times, is going to be an abuser.
So you think that the person would have come from an abusive background as well?
Most of the time, yeah.
Karen, you're nodding your head. Why is that?
I agree. Okay. I think that men that come from abusive homes tend to become abusers themselves.
Okay.
Yes, it's how it always works.
And Amang, what are your thoughts on this from a male perspective as well?
Well, I would love to say most times yes, but sometimes the women actually push the man. So it's really not on the part that it's from the home.
Okay, so are you saying that you think a woman can push a man to the point where he beats her up?
Yeah.
And do you think that's okay? Like, in the sense, like, if someone comes to you and says, like your friend, and she says that her husband's been beating her, and then she tells you that maybe she like pushed his head or she was cussing at him, and then he just decided to beat her to a pulp, what would your reaction to that be?
Well, first of all, I won't support the man.
Okay.
Because I expect him to have self-control.
Yeah.
But then he lost his self-control. But at the same time, I would not be totally on the part that is from the background.
Okay.
You get?
So, but do you ladies think that a woman can push a man to beating?
Of course, a woman can push a man, but I still maintain that there's no excuse to raise your hand and hit a woman.
Women express themselves, by shouting. That's the woman's power, because you can't force a man to do what he doesn't want to do. You can't beat him, especially in this divide.
But that's bullying,
No, not necessarily
bullying on the man.
If I'm married now, and then we have a misunderstanding, I've done all sorts, and then you don't want to agree to what I'm saying. As a woman, I get frustrated. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm just going to yell someday. That would be my breaking point. But that does not give the man the excuse to slap
you up.
Beat me. It's beyond pushing. You understand? It's who you are.
It's like you need to learn to walk away. Especially if you know you have a temper, what do you think? Do you think that a man should learn?
I really think, first of all, it's, as she said, the women express themselves, right? Yeah. You expressing yourself is you bullying the man.
So
you pushing the man, right? And just as you said, when the woman pushes his head, that is you. Yeah. That is the man being violated.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's right for any woman to lay her hands, of course.
Exactly.
But of course, there is a difference between doing that and punching someone.
It's still violation.
I know you should. I don't think you should get that close where you start physically touching the person, because then things can just go left. But I just want to ask: is there anyone on the panel that has been in an abusive relationship or has had anything happen to them?
Well, I have.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
It was crazy, because I never thought I was the kind of woman that would ever be beat on by a man. But when it happened, I took it in my stride, because I see myself not as a victim in any way. I don't. And it was a case of, I didn't just stay there and let him hit me. It was a case of me like matching him toe to toe. In the end, he's still stronger, and he was still like had the upper hand. But I made it clear that I was not going to be beaten down and made into like a punching bag. Yeah. So not all women can stand up to men like that. And if I hadn't ended that, I would have probably dead. Yeah. Because in the end, he's stronger. Yeah, but you have to know when to walk away and when you see that your life is in danger and whatnot.
I was going to say, can you just explain to us how it actually started? Because I'm sure in the beginning of your relationship, it wasn't
like that. No, it wasn't like that.
Can you tell us what led up to that, or what do you think the reasons were behind
I
it?
would say, like he said, self-control. And then, like she said, our mouths. When I get angry, I could go off. Oh my God, my tongue is like sharp. And I'll just be ranting. And the next thing I knew, he slapped me.
Wow.
Yeah. And like, I couldn't believe it. So I hit him back, and that was it. The beating was crazy.
And when it started, how long did it take before you decided to leave the situation?
After a couple of months, I knew I was done. I knew that it was either I leave here in a body bag or I leave here on my 2 legs. Yeah.
But you see, the great thing is that you did that, but a lot of people aren't strong enough to do that, which takes me to my next question. Why do people stay? Because I know one of the reasons is the financial side. Like if a woman is married and then she has a lot of children and she might be a housewife, so she feels she's not going to be able to cope on her own. But then it doesn't just happen to people who are housewives, it happens to high-powered women as well. So what is the reason? What do you guys think is the reason behind people staying?
Okay, first of all, of course, society. You know, people don't like to wear that tag, I'm a divorced woman. You know, there's stigmatization in society. And then second of all, emotionally, the person is bruised. When you're being beaten, you feel reduced, you feel worthless, you feel, some of the time, you can even feel you're a problem.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You know, most people would not really understand it if you're not in that shoes. You know, it's like someone being very powerful and then, you know, someone, you know, comes out with a cane and then strikes you, keeps beating
Over
you.
and over
Before
again.
you know it, you start believing, oh my God, I'm a goat. And then people from outside are wondering, what's your problem? Why can't you walk away? But then something is missing, something is broken inside. You know, so usually people like that, they can't, most of the time, can't do it themselves, walk away. You know, so that's why I always like people to seek help. You know, if you can stand up and walk away, man, you're a champion. You know, I'm telling you, that's why, he is a champion, I'm telling you. Because I deal with issues like this, most of the time the women don't leave. They can't do it themselves. They can't. They just feel, I am reduced, I'm finished, I'm dead, I'm just like, you know, they see themselves as, you know, I'm a paper, I'm nothing.
Like the guy can just walk all
Yeah,
over,
so, you
or
know,
the
so that's
spouse.
just it. So that's
But they
why,
have aside
Aside that, another reason that is very funny, and then I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Some women actually tell you they prefer to be beaten. Some women actually tell you they want
It's
to be
rare
beaten.
for me to hear that, but there was something online years ago where this girl, she was about 18, she was in a relationship, and she said she believes that her boyfriend beating her meant that he loved her. You saw that, right?
It's not just years ago. It's still happening.
I need to understand, does that mean there's something wrong with you?
it's dysfunction.
Okay.
It's, of
Is
course,
that like low self-esteem?
yes,
or
the person is dysfunctional already. You understand? It has.
Okay, what do you think?
Now, money.
What
Do you
do you
know
think?
what dysfunction is?
As a sociologist, I will tell you, I wouldn't really call it a dysfunction completely, right? Sometimes, because society defines what it is. Society made you think this is green. Society made you think this is black.
Yes.
But another person will tell you this is white. And he will tell you why it is white. So if someone tells you, I prefer to be punched, I wouldn't really like to call it a dysfunction completely.
It's the
Do you know
personal
why?
preference.
Do you know why? Do
But
you
that's
know?
still
That's the word.
dysfunctional.
It is still dysfunctional.
In the norm.
Now, money.
You think of the norm.
It's
Do you
two
know
ways.
that? Do you know that there are three things that makes up, you know, a man or anybody? You understand?
Okay.
One is your upbringing. Two is the society.
Yeah.
Three is a significant emotional experience.
Yeah.
So if that girl was abused when she was young, if she was beaten when she was young, it is a dysfunction at 3-year-old that will manifest
in her
when she's
20s.
25.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm talking about? A lot of people are dysfunctional, but we don't know because you know we're wearing pancake, you're wearing everything, and then you know, oh my God, you don't know. A lot of people are broken in the money. I wish you can see inside.
No. I understand what you're saying, right? But I just don't want to put it completely on the part that is dysfunctional because society defines what is dysfunctional. That's the part I'm trying to put you through.
Okay, but do you think it is normal for a lady to wake up and say, if someone doesn't slap me, beat
That
me
means
with
they
a
don't
cane,
love- yeah,
do you
that
think
means they
it's
don't
normal?
love
Do you think it's a normal thing?
I would say it's normal.
In this
I would say
society
it's
of
normal.
human race that we are,
you
I would
say
say
it's
it's
normal,
normal,
but
but
what would you say?
I would give them the arm's length.
Okay,
I would like to
just-
know why she thinks.
Okay, I
that
mean,
is
you
normal
know,
to her.
like I said, we don't have that much time to
Yeah.
talk, so I just want to quickly get to another point. Can it stop? Can you have a partner that is beating on you, man or woman, right? And you seek help or whatever and the person stops, the spouse stops. Is that possible? Because all the stories I hear is this was happening to someone and the person left, or the person, like you said, ended up in a body bag. But it's very rare to hear a case of the person actually stopped and they lived happily ever after. Do you guys think that can happen?
People will stop. A man who beats on a woman, or a woman, whichever way it is, will stop if he or she seeks help.
Yeah.
In this country, most people don't. Men don't even like to seek help. Yeah, because it kind of, to them, it reduces who I am, go somewhere and then begin to tell you.
Also the breed of abusive men that do not, they cannot come to terms with the fact that they are abusive. Like the relationship I was in, like he would never, he refused to admit that he was beat. Yes. Yeah. When I'll say, oh, you hit me, he's like, when? And I'm looking at him with my eyes black and blue. I'm like, are you serious? Wow. And he's like, I've never hit you. I'm not a violent man. And I'm like, he couldn't even come to terms. Yes, he couldn't even come to terms with the fact that he was an abusive person.
Where the guy will beat you and clean you up and start crying. Oh
yes, God, and wants to even make love to you afterwards. Wow. Some men get turned on by that. There are lots of people that are dysfunctional out there.
Help, I'm telling you, because when I'm talking about help now, your mind, something is wrong in that mind. It needs to be reprogrammed in another way. It needs to be, dealt with, help, and all of that. If you can, because if you don't do that, you're not going to stop on your own.
Of course.
You can't. Because you're not even doing it for your own accord.
Add to what you're saying. The part of seeking help, yes, is needed. Yes, it can be done, right? But the question now is, how many psychologists do we have in the country? How many psychologists?
You know what? I think as time is going on, things are changing, but it is not the norm here for someone to, because people do not want, Nigerians do not want you to know their business. So no one wants to admit that, okay, this is happening to them. And it was interesting because before the cameras were rolling, I was talking to someone and I said, let's say a man is beating his wife and then she leaves and he gets remarried, but the ex-wife is too afraid to talk about it. Is it her duty to talk about it to maybe help the next lady that might fall into that situation? Because we don't talk about it. Do you know what I mean? So, but we just have to leave it there, guys. I'm really sorry. We're going to move on to our question of the day, which is totally unrelated. But I just want to say, if there is anyone out there who's a victim of abuse, or you know anyone else that is a victim of abuse, we're going to have a number rolling on the screen. All right, so our question of the day, which is totally unrelated to our topic, and I just want to see what you guys think. This is actually from our Facebook page, and our Facebook page is called So You Won Marry, W-A-N, Won Marry, get it? And our Twitter and everything else. If you want to contact us, just send us a question. And the question today is from Anonymous. Well, it says to the married women in the house, but to women, men, how do you maintain a successful marriage? What are the do's and don'ts? If you guys can try and just put something out there, one each. How do you maintain a successful marriage?
Okay. First of all, you need to try to understand the person. There are no rules.
Okay.
There are no rules on paper. This is how you need to understand your partner.
Yeah.
That is what will work. Because what works for this may not work for that.
someone else. Exactly.
You understand? So you really need to understand your partner. That's one. And I think the second one is that you need to be confident in yourself. Yeah. Don't lose yourself. Whatever thing you do not lose yourself. That's just it.
Well, for me, I have three things.
Okay.
One, you have to be friends. You have to be friends because there's a time lapse that the love will die. It's the friendship that will keep you on. So you have to be friends. Secondly, you have to be patient.
Definitely.
If you're not patient, you can't understand the person. Right? Yeah. And thirdly, never ignore sex.
I like that.
No matter how old.
I agree. You're right.
Well, for me, like you guys have said most of it, you have to be friends with whoever is you're married. Secondly, I think people overlook this part. Your sex life has to be on point. Yes, you have to keep that part of your marriage burning. He has to see you come home and want to just eat you up. It will help. Like even when you have fights, when you have sex, you can resolve your issues. And thirdly, you have to be tolerant because no matter how much you love someone, they'll do things to piss you off, and you do things to piss them off. So you have to learn how to tolerate and understand, and deal with all of that. That's it.
Great. Well, thank you to our guests today. And if you guys need to contact us, you want to make any comments and any questions, reach out to us on Twitter and Facebook, So You Want Marry, and our email is soyouwantmarry@gmail.com. We will see you next time. Take care of yourselves.